Hi, it's Jamie with JamiesArtsalaCartes. Thank you very much for joining me today. I wanted to bring you our first project of the year. We are going to be making some birthday greeting cards. We'll be using our scoreboard. I'm going to go out to Etsy and look for some SVGs that I want to use. So I'll be using my Cricut. So I have several mats that I'm going to get loaded up. And then I just have all kinds of fun paper at my disposal here. So I have lots and lots to choose from. So let's see what we can create. I think this is going to be a fun one. I'll meet you over at the computer and let's get started.
I was able to find a few files out on Etsy and I went ahead and purchased them. So then I loaded them each into Design Space and uploaded each file into their own folder, creating a file for each one of the SVGs. Then I did a test cut on the first file just to get an idea of how I needed to resize the files in order to use them for our project. So I've had an interesting few days. Started experiencing bad cuts with my maker, and then where the mat wouldn't feed in there. So some of you may know, some of you may not know, but after doing some research, I found that people are struggling with this thing moving, this little rubber wheel moving over. Mine had shifted itself all the way over to here, which prevented it from operating correctly. So these little star wheels, they suggest you keep them way over here. And you can see that it's really hurt my wheel there. So I'm going to contact Cricut support and find out what I need to do with that. So I didn't get all the cuts that I really wanted to do, but I got enough for us to make some cards.
All right, here we are. I've got several things cut out, and I wanted to show you some things that I experimented with, and some worked and some didn't. So you don't have to do a full sheet. I like to do strips. If I'd have been thinking a little straighter, I would have trimmed this off because I could have got something there. I still can. So I have some large happy birthdays, some presents, some balloons. You do have to be pretty precise. My alignment got off just a little bit, so it cut off the tail of my balloon, but that's okay. Got really brave, and I just kept feeding in the same sheet. So here we are with two cards again. I wanted to make shaker cards, and I was all excited. I got these on there, but in reality, I didn't leave a border. So to make a shaker card, you need a border. So these will be a cute little embellishment. We'll see what I can come up with those. But I actually did two card fronts on each side, and then some balloons. See if you can see that. It'll be fun to experiment with. And same thing, trying to make some shaker cards, And I didn't leave, I would have been better just to put one on there and leave a border around it. And then I thought I had sized them all the same. I sliced off some of my balloons, but I'm going to use that in a different kind of way. Have an idea about that. But more happy birthdays. So this will help with to make some masculine cards. And the last one I want to show you before it occurred to me, oh, I didn't leave a border. So I did a tiny little bit, so we'll see. But we've got two card fronts. So this is the difference when you put it back in to refeed it. It could be off just a little smidge, just like that. And then this one was off too, so I probably lost this balloon for sure. I'll probably be able to salvage some of that front, but we'll see how that all turns out. It still gives me a lot to work with on that one page. That a little bit better. So I'll be able to use the happy birthday, and I've got this, so I've got enough to make a card. So I'm pleased with that still, even with that flub up there. So we'll come back to that. Let's go to one of these. So here we are. We'll take off the outline again. And again, I forgot to leave the border. So we're not going to, and it didn't cut all the way there. That's okay. I saw it before it tore anything. So this was a little harder to cut than a regular cardstock. So even though it was a faux pas, it'll work out great. So here we are. Again, just easy finessing it. The blue mat is much, much easier than the green mat. I'm not struggling nearly as hard to pop up my design, which is good because some of these lines are pretty thin, especially where the letters join together. Look at that. And I like that. How cute is that? And I'll put it on a better size, but I wanted you to have an idea. voila.
So we'll let it dry good. And there's that one. So this is this white slick paint that you can get. And it just added like a little emboss on there, but it made it pucker, but not a big deal. And so there we have that one. And then I did an experiment. So I just did this background. It's kind of probably hard to see. Let's see. This one will be easier. This is just glue on here that made an embossing kind of effect. So I'm going to show you how easy that is. You just take something like this, and you're basically just going to draw C's. And you want it to be kind of random. So you're going to have something like that. That when it's dry will look like something like this, which is pretty cool. So then to bling this up, my Cricut didn't give me the dots. I lost the dots. They either wrinkled up or didn't cut all the way. I think I'm going to just leave that one just like that. Has a cool texture and it looks good. And then I tried making some shaker cards. They're kind of cool. You have to be careful what you put on the inside. So this one has like the real fine glitter. Not as happy with that one. But I literally just took just cellophane, not like saran wrap cellophane, but like from your sticker sheets and that sort of thing, and cut these out and used a double-sided tape. I'm going to make one of those for you just to show you, give you an idea. And then we have this one. I just laid it on the top of the other one. Here's a very simple one. And so I had the black and I just went over it with this chartreuse green. So like a lime green. So that's pretty nice. I like that one. Here's another shaker card. So I don't think I want to do anything else to it. I'm going to leave it the way it is. It can be kind of masculine. Here is another idea with that
just doing that little C mark, and I put a little bit of glitter on it. It's a very subtle little effect. Here I had this bright background to match this, and then I had the black to go on it, but then I took and did the glue embossing thing again. Oh yeah, so that added a nice little amount of bling to it. So we'll leave that, we'll let that dry. Running out of dry spots. I have these that I let the paper do the work for me, but then I did a little embossing with glue on the words. I hope you can see that because it looks really cool in person. But I want to add just a few of my blingies to it. Let's see. So there it is so far. We need something else. Oh yeah. That's pretty. I like that one. Some of the other ones that I created earlier. This is something just very simple and elegant. Again, I think I'm going to I'm just sort of outlining the flowers. I have this real pretty pink here. And there it is. Some just pretty highlights. All right, so thank goodness this is just about over with. This was a challenge. All right, so let's review. So some of the things I learned is to pay attention to the weight of my base. To let this paper work for us. You know, and you can get some pretty effects like that. The whole embossing with your glue. That was a cool idea. Just happened to stumble across that. Shaker cards. What did I learn about shaker cards? To be super careful with the what you put on the inside. So that super fine glitter, it's okay, but it's just not what I was looking to accomplish. I do like this one. So this has the thicker glitter, a little tiny bit of the fine glitter, and then it has some sequins. And so what I found is the sequins, because these aren't, I try to make the cards super thin so that it wouldn't have issues with mailing. So in doing that, it meant this is a pouch as opposed to a true shaker card. Sometimes I needed to add panels on the inside just to add weight. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I added it because it's a dark color and it's be easier to write. I've been using like a silver Sharpie, but you know, if you didn't want to do that, add a panel. When I started adding a lot of that around the edge, you can see the card warped. So there you go about weight again. Mixing and matching was kind of cool, but sometimes it was hard to read. So here's one that I'm going to have to really work with. Love that paper, beautiful paper, but when I cut it, it's really hard to read, even with the white behind it. So I may come in here and, you know, just paint this white or something. I don't know, we'll have to see. Haven't thought that one all the way through yet. What else did we learn? The wheel on the Cricut, that was a near disaster. Not sure why it's doing that. Like I said, I'll contact Cricut support, and if I get a good answer, I'll update my, you know, my more info, you know, down in the video. You can see down, you can touch more information, and usually has my instructions. And if I find a good answer, I'll add it there. So yeah, that was, this was also kind of cool. This thing just happened upon this kind of, another kind of what I'm calling embossing, only because it doesn't really stand out, but it adds a nice little effect to it. I'll probably try this again. The whole idea was to try to learn how to do this shaker card. You can see some of them got stuck once I put them in there. See how they got stuck on each other? But it raised that up so that stuff moves around. So this is what I mean about putting different size things in there. So it has a chunky glitter, just a tiny bit of fine glitter, and then it has the confetti, the star confetti. So you just have to be mindful of what you put in there. This is what they look like before you do anything to them. I'll probably come back and add some gold to this or something. I usually stamp the back of my cards. Let's see, let's find one that I actually did. I always stamp them. This one can stamp now. So I'll stamp them, and it just says inspired by life, created by hand, and I just put my initials in. I just put the year of when I created the card. I usually do them all at one time. Just sort of makes the assembly line process go smoother. So while this was challenging, I'm going to still call it a success because I still have cards that I can send out to family and friends and church folks. And I did learn a lot on the shaker cards. I tried to do it without using foam tape. Didn't work. It was too bulky, and I needed room for my things to move. So what I did is I just used this. I had a stash. So I get this at Dollar Tree. So you get all of that for like $1. So I used the super thin one, and then when I started getting low on the thin, I just took the other sizes and then just cut them down. So they're easy to cut down. You know, I've got all kinds of foam, and I've got little foam squares, but it looked better from the side of the card, a finished product. If, oh, here's one. So it didn't go all the way across, so I'm going to have to figure out how to, I'm not going to send that out. I have to figure out how to fix that. So I have to be real careful. This is one of the first ones I did, and I was trying to work around this. The reality is that you want to work with this. So what I did is I took, here's one started. I saved one so I could show you. So I got this cut out from Cricut. So I got my shape cut out. You do want to be careful and make sure that you leave an outline. Because some, if you remember, I cut too close and then you don't have, and that's just difficult to work with. You can see that. So if you don't leave enough around the edge, it's real hard to be able to attach anything to that. But then when you do get it right, I just use literally something from like a sticker pack, cut it out to my size, glued it, like you'll have two sides that are sealed, factory sealed, and then I glued it to my frame, put my items right in the center. So, and I put just the tiniest little bit. So some of these, like this one, it has the wrong stuff and it has too much stuff in it, right? It looks better when it has just a little bit. So literally, you know, like maybe a dozen sequins, just a tiniest little pinch of glitter. And then I glued these, let it set, and then came back and put the card together. So here's one that's started, that's not finished. So once you have this piece in here, you see this is one is only sealed on one side. I'll literally put the items right in here. Well, let's do one. Let's do this one. You can see I won't be able to finish it because it won't dry. And this is an odd mix, so it has some squares and some circles. But I literally would put it just right in the center. And then I'm going to take this. I need some fine, but just a little bit. So I'm going to go like 1, 2. And I'm trying to match, if this is a double-sided paper, so I'm trying to match that. So maybe I'll put in, I'll find a blue. Let's see, what do I have in blue? Oh, I have this stuff. It's a larger flake, just the tiniest little bit. Looks like I'm putting a lot out with just a tiny little bits coming. So then, so there we have it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just literally going to take my glue and I'm going to go around the edge. And you got to make sure there's no gaps. That's the biggie. I'm going to go ahead and go in here too. All I'm doing is kind of smearing it around. And then gently put your other piece, because it's like a little folder at this point. And now we're going to seal it. And again, this is kind of a little bit lighter weight, so it's warping on me, but I'll be able to press it once it's all the way dry. And that's one thing you don't want to do. You want to hold this tight while you're pressing this. This dries clear, so I don't have to worry about it. And what I've been doing is shaking the card right after I get this part done. And then the finest glitter will stick to anything that you have right that went past your little paper edge there. I literally just do this.
just shake it all around. And then it'll look something like that. But what I'll need to do is go in and find my coordinating paper for underneath as well as the inside. So I'll probably put, you know, white and white and be able to write a message. And that'll help with the weight of the card to feel, you know, to feel real. And there we are. And then it shakes. I've got some that I'm really pleased with, some that I'll do a little different next time. And that's just how experiments go, you know, just the way creating is. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And well, until next time, happy crafting.